My name's Hartzell Gray. I'm 26 years old, and I am born and raised in Kansas City. So it's kind of crazy. Everyone's radio story, I guess, is a little bit different. But I was going to school at Mizzou. I ran track for a year at UMKC, and decided it was time for me to, have a college life. I really just wanted to, have a college life. And so I transferred to Mizzou after I retired, and I was doing sports management and poli-sci at the time. So absolutely nothing at all related to radio, but I had a college radio show that I was doing with some buddies of mine. We had a sports show, and so I've always loved radio and media and TV. I had done it in high school and was in the J school for a while at Mizzou, but just wasn't a huge fan of some of the other students. My mom is a nurse and my dad's a photographer, and so I don't have parents that know people that work at NBC or Viacom or insert big media, and so it got a little pretentious for me, to be honest. Fast forward, here I am. Basically, I was doing sports management and poli-sci, like I told you, and I needed an internship because that's kind of how the world operates. And I'd actually originally tried to apply at one of our sports stations, and they were all full. And so my buddy said, "Hey, why don't we try doing some stuff with 96.5?" And I was like, "Hey, it's awesome." I had grown up listening to the Buzz in middle school and high school and in college. I was working at the Student Center at Mizzou, and every morning I had, the morning show on with Afintra. And so I thought it was going to be awesome, if nothing else, do a summer, go to some shows, meet some cool people, maybe get a couple selfies with people who I now call my boss, and it'd be awesome. And I got really tight with our morning show, Danny Boy in particular. And he's like, "Man, you really should try this." I'm like, I appreciate it. I still maybe even subconsciously tried to kind of rule that out because I was so bummed when I ended up getting out of the J school initially. And I remember telling him, I was like, "Danny, I appreciate it, man, but it's, you're just being nice, And he's like, "No, seriously, at least let's try something." And so he eventually broke me down enough so I said, "Okay, whatever, man, let's do it." And so the plan was for us to come in on a Saturday, record a demo tape, and he said, "Listen, we're gonna do this." He's like, "If only for me, at least get this recorded, and you can shop it out if you don't. If you can shop it if you want. You can send it to other stations, and if you're interested in doing that. But if not, at least I can say I tried." And so that was gonna be on a Saturday, June 13th to be exact, of 2013, and we get a phone call on the Friday before Saturday that our weekend person, she got sick, and at the time we didn't have a whole lot of fill-ins. Our bench was pretty low, and I guess it called Danny, or somehow Danny got wind of this, and he had told me, he's like, "Hey, so we're gonna record your demo tape. It's gonna be great." And I, of course, even as he was telling me this, trying to get out of it, still like, "Hey man, if you want to change your mind, it's fine." He's like, "Shut up." He literally said, "Shut up. We're gonna record the demo tape, but we're gonna do that next week because we're gonna come in Saturday and they're gonna go live." And he hung up the phone, and that was it. So I couldn't even have a chance to say no. And I still remember that conversation. He hung up on me, and I sat there. I was literally on my couch, and I'm just like, what? What? And yeah, so June 13th, 2013 happened, and the rest is history. I just been really lucky, man. I love Kansas City. Like I said, I was born and raised here, and I'm KC through and through. So the fact that this whole radio thing has happened, it's just really been awesome for me because it's springboarded me and get a chance to do things that I would never have gotten a chance to even remotely think about doing, because of the radio gig. And, I like to think that I kind of, busted my ass a little bit. Now I'm the host and I guess the voice of Children's Mercy Park, which is the home of Sporting KC. I've got a chance to meet so many awesome friends of mine from, local businesses around here. I'm the endorser for the Nelson Atkins, the museum here in Kansas City. So the Third Thursday program, and with Young Friends of Art. And again, it's been a dream come true. Getting a chance to, come back home for your first big boy job in a big market. We're a top 30 market now, and a lot of people who I work with even now in this building, this is going to be where they hang it up. And I've got a chance to start here, and I don't want to leave. Like, I really have no desire to get out of here. If you ask me now, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? It's just really interesting. I am fascinated by radio. It's, to me, still one of the best mediums out there. Let's be real. I mean, everyone's got Spotify, everyone's got Apple Music, everyone's got insert whatever. To say that radio is the first place you're going to hear a song or hear an opinion is slowly not becoming the case anymore. So you've got to try to find a way to bridge that. So I try to make it very personality driven, and that's what we do at the station as well. So that, yeah, you heard that same Jack White song years ago for the first time, but when I play it and when we do it together from 7 to midnight, Monday through Friday, it's me and you just hanging out and listening to some songs. Or I even say, hey man, we have a text line. You've got the aux cord. I'm just here to make sure everything runs. And so let's just hang out together. So where do I see myself in 5, 10 years? Hopefully entertaining, whatever that means. Hopefully interacting and trying to help some people out, or just trying to, be a shoulder to cry on, or be somebody to party with or celebrate with, and if that means getting a chance to work in TV or going behind the scenes or staying in radio, that's fine. As long as I get a chance to be me and I get a chance to have an opportunity to relate to people, to share personality with the rest of the world, my personality, for good or for bad, with the rest of the world. It's pretty special. It's something that's very, very important to me, and something that I don't take for granted at all. A lot of stations here, when we had things pop up in the world, they're not going to touch it. When Charlottesville happened, they weren't going to talk about that. Or when insert this scandal happened here, no one else wants to talk about that. But I do, because that's what's real. We get yelled at all the time, shut up and play music. Well, man, I think it's bigger than that. Life is bigger than just shutting up and playing music. You can't just put blinders on. So we're going to talk about that. I personally, I've been hospitalized. I suffer from major depression and anxiety, and we talked about that. I was gone for a week, pretty much inexplicably, and I knew that when I got out of the hospital that I had to have this conversation, because, at the time I had been doing this job for 4 years, and for me not to be there for a week and have no real explanation didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I know that, if I, again, because I want to be real and want to be as genuine as possible, if I was at any other job and was gone for a week, it'd be weird if I didn't say where I was. And I also, in this situation, wanted to try to maybe spread some awareness and help end that stigma of some negative connotation with mental health. So when I got back out of the hospital, the first thing I did was I came here and talked about it. And it's for good or for bad. Some people, family even, would have told me that was a terrible idea, and they did tell me that. But the emails and the text and the phone calls that I got that same day of people who, man, I needed to hear that, or I couldn't believe that was happening to you. Well, I'm like, I'm not anything special. That's everybody, and so that's just something, again, like if I was hanging drywall, I wouldn't have the opportunity to go on air and read off suicide hotline phone numbers, or where you can donate for underprivileged youths, or for single parents. Like I've gotten a chance with this job to try to do a little bit of good, and I'm not trying to fluff my own ego, but I wouldn't have that opportunity if I was doing something else. And so, like I said, I take it very seriously, and it means a lot to me, and hopefully I can keep doing that in some kind of capacity, not just in 5 or 10 years, but hopefully forever.